Let's talk about selling a home in Kentwood, Michigan. The typical listing here goes pending in about 14 days, and that speed convinces a lot of sellers they can name whatever number they want. They can't. Here's how pricing, condition, and timing actually work in this market. Start with who your buyer is. Kentwood sits directly southeast of Grand Rapids, about 15 minutes from downtown, wrapped around the 28th Street retail corridor with the M6 Beltline along its south edge. Your buyer is a commuter who wants a short drive in a full-service city, and that's one of the deepest pools in the metro. Here's the number that sets the terms. The typical Kentwood listing goes pending in about 14 days. Caledonia, straight down M6 from you, sits at 34. Same metro, same buyers, more than twice the wait. And the difference is that Kentwood has an established stock people can move into now. Here's my honest take before we go any further. Kentwood prices right at the county median, which means you don't get a location premium handed to you the way an Ada or East Grand Rapids seller does. Every dollar above that line has to be earned by condition. Which brings us to comps. Price to what actually closed in the last 90 days. And keep the filters tight. Same square footage band, same era of construction, same side of the city. Most of Kentwood is served by Kentwood Public Schools, and a portion of the city sits in Forest Hills. And those lines do not follow city lines. So confirm which district your address is in before you set a number. Here's the ground you're standing on. Kentwood is home to about 56,000 people. The typical house is valued near $340,000. Listings go pending in roughly 14 days, and downtown Grand Rapids is 15 minutes out. On price, Kentwood sits essentially level with the metro benchmark, about $340,000 against a Kent County median of $335,000. And the average Kentwood home is currently closing about 1% under its list price. So this market is not handing out bidding wars at every address. Your number comes from your comps and your condition, not from the headline. Know what you're competing with. Kentwood's stock is mature. The middle of it dates to about 1982, and it gets cross-shopped against brand new construction on the same commute. The Breton Ravines project off 52nd Street is a 285-unit development on about 66 acres. 216 single-family homes, plus 69 rental townhomes, with an extension of Breton Avenue from 52nd to 60th. That's the finish level your buyer has already walked through. So, what do Kentwood buyers actually pay up for in an 80s house? 5 things, over and over. A roof, furnace, and water heater, with real life left in them. A kitchen that's been touched this decade. Hard surface flooring on the main level instead of carpet. A finished lower level with proper egress. And a 2-stall garage that still fits 2 cars. Hit 4 of the 5 and you list at the top of your band. Condition is where your number actually gets decided. An early 80s house sells on its mechanicals, so service the furnace and keep the invoice, resolve the basement's water story, and put the panel, the roof, and the water heater in writing. In a market paying for move-in ready, undocumented equipment reads as deferred maintenance, whether it is or not. Your buyer isn't only shopping Kentwood, they're cross-shopping Caledonia's new construction to the south, Granville to the west, and Wyoming as the cheaper step down. And on typical home value, you land just under Granville and roughly $90,000 below Caledonia. That's the context a buyer's agent brings to your kitchen table, so know it before they do. Presentation next. You don't need a renovation, you need a house that asks the buyer to make 0 decisions. Neutral paint, dated fixtures swapped out, counters cleared, deep clean. Then hire the photographer, because in a 14-day market, nearly every buyer tours your house on a phone before they ever pull into the driveway. And know your ceiling. 4-bedroom, 2 stories in Kentwood run roughly $340,000 to $440,000. Price above the top of that band, and you stop competing with Kentwood houses and start competing with new construction. And that's a fight an 80s house does not win. Timing. Michigan homes listed in June go under contract about 19 days faster than the annual average. And West Michigan tracks that curve. But Kentwood listings are still clearing in about 14 days. And with rates sitting just under 6.75%, the season is a tailwind, not a substitute for pricing it right. So here's the playbook I run with Kentwood sellers. Price to closed comps inside your own square footage band. Spend 2 weeks on mechanicals, paint, and photography before the sign goes in the yard. Go live Thursday so your first weekend carries full traffic. Hand every buyer's agent a repair and receipt folder. And if you're past 14 days with no offer, that's price. Kentwood sells for exactly what it is. A full-service city 15 minutes from downtown, priced at the county line, and moving in about 2 weeks. Sellers who prepare get paid for that. Sellers who guess quietly donate the difference. Let's set your number in your prep list and get you sold on the first weekend instead of the third price drop.